Hello! Cauliflower cheese it is today and a bechamel masterclass, and you're going to love this. If you like cauliflower cheese, everyone's got their own little recipe, and this is all my tweaks and everything I put into it to give it the biggest, fullest flavour you can possibly get. Red Leicester, onion and garlic powder in the bechamel, breadcrumbs made from parmesan and tiger bread, or any bread you can get hold of on top just to crisp it up as well, more for texture. Oh my God, it's amazingly fit. And also, have you ever roasted cauliflower cheese and found that it's curdled after when you dish it up? Well, there's a trick in here that gets rid of all that. Enjoy cooking it. Enjoy winter, because this is the sort of food that you sit down on a Sunday after a hard week's work and have a big roast with the family. And this is always a big part of a Sunday roast. So enjoy it and get ready for winter. Crack on. Okay, so remove the florets from the larger central stem and just make sure when you cut them off, just make some bite-sized, some larger, so there's a nice choice of mouthfeel when you're eating it and after you've dished it up, basically. Nice different sizes. Bring a pan of water to the boil, add a teaspoon of salt, throw in all those cauliflower florets, bring it back to the boil, put a lid on it, let it simmer for about 5 minutes, empty all the water out, turn the heat off and just leave that open like that to steam dry off while you do the rest, because now we're going to make the bechamel. So 30 grams of butter, and let that melt and start to sizzle. Add a teaspoon of garlic powder, teaspoon of onion powder, and then 30 grams of plain flour. And that's the rule for French bechamel, or bechamel, not French bechamel, but that you add 1-to-1 flour and butter, and just let that start to sizzle. Like that, start to sizzle for about a minute. Cook off that flour, and then you can start to incorporate the milk, which is cold milk straight from the fridge. Don't listen to the chefs on the telly. You can actually just use cold milk straight from the fridge if you know what you're doing, which is, as you stir it in, just make tiny circles on the outside as you go round, okay? So I'm not particularly stirring across the middle. I'm actually concentrating on making little circles on the outside, and it just slowly incorporates the milk into the flour and the butter, and it starts to become beautifully silky smooth, which is exactly what you need with bechamel. So a little bit of milk all the time, and just a very slight heat beneath. I'm not having that on full whack underneath. It's just a small blue flame, and I'm just incorporating little bits of milk. And as you can see, just tiny circles as I go round on the outer edges, not stirring across the middle, yeah? So you're just incorporating a bit of milk every time, let it thicken the sauce, and you're just sort of controlling how thick you want the sauce. In a moment, it'll just be the right consistency. You can see it's getting to that beautiful, silky, reflective shine to it, which is pretty much perfect, I would say that. As a base bechamel, you're pretty much there now. But what I'm going to do is add everything now to this. I'll be adding salt, I'll be adding white pepper, I'll be adding secret ingredient, which is Colemans English mustard. So as you can see, that's a perfect consistency for a base mother sauce bechamel. There's no salt in there, of course, which I'll add now. Teaspoon of salt. Mix that in. Half a teaspoon of white pepper powder, mix that in. Underneath is still just a very low heat. A little bit more milk, because I'm going to make it a little bit watery, because I'll be adding the cheese in a moment, and that actually thickens it back up again, okay? So slightly watery now, and then I'm going to add a teaspoon of Colemans English mustard. Adds colour, but adds so much depth of flavour just before you put the cheese in. A sort of almost umami essence to it. It activates all the tongue when the cheese goes in, and so now that's the perfect consistency. So I'm going to add all the finely grated Red Leicester and mix that in. I tasted this sauce and checked for seasoning. Oh my God, it's so good. It's so good. There we go, nice and runny. So now add double cream, and it's the double cream that stops it curdling when you roast it. The bechamel, you sometimes find, curdles when you roast it, and when you dish it up, you've got sort of curdled, thick, unpleasant almost texture. This keeps it silky smooth. Add the breadcrumbs. Now, I didn't film this, but that is basically a little bit of bread, a little bit of parmesan and olive oil to stop it burning, and then you blitz it, and then you bake it at 180 degrees for 30 minutes, and hey presto, bang, you have got an unbelievably fantastic tasting cauliflower cheese. Because I made this for this film on a Saturday afternoon, that's all I had for my lunch, a bowl. You're supposed to have it with a big lump of beef and a roast dinner, because really that's what this is for. But oh my god, I had it on its own and I was absolutely buzzing off it. That is my cauliflower cheese and bechamel masterclass. Please subscribe to my channel, it'll really help me out, and share this video to all your friends and enemies. So take care, stay safe.